welcome back to another episode of SwansCast Weekly, everyone. I'm joined once again by Lee.
Hello.
Welcome. Well travelled this week. We went up to the Reading game, so very enjoyable day. Very what's the word? Eventful, very emotional in all different ways. But so we'll talk about that. I guess it will be a good one to talk about the experience. I think we picked a good away day to sort of get back on the road on the bank holiday weekend, and we'll go from there. So first of all, Lee, just before we get into the podcast, I was going to say if you can just move your mic a little bit away from your mouth, just because you sound like Darth Vader a little bit.
Might get too excited.
Yeah, I thought I know my name's Luke, but I'm not Luke Skywalker, so I don't want any "I'm your father" coming out because it sounds like it might be the next thing. But so how's your week been anyway? Well, we're halfway through the week as of recording, bank holiday week.
Yeah, not bad. It was really hard getting back into work with the long weekend.
Good Easter.
I booked Thursday off work as well, so I had 5 days off. It was horrendous going back into work on Tuesday, especially because we went to Reading on Monday, so the first day back was horrific. But no, Easter was all right. It was tidy. Went back to Swansea for a bit.
How many eggs did you have?
Oh, I tell you what I didn't see before. I love Terry's chocolate orange, and I had a Terry's chocolate orange Easter egg, but it came with like chocolate orange mini eggs, and it may be the best thing I've ever had.
I didn't know they did chocolate orange mini eggs.
No,
I've got a white Terry's chocolate orange Easter egg downstairs. That's new. I know they've done the white chocolate oranges the last 2 Christmases, so we got a couple of them.
Did you not have the eggs with it? Not come with the white chocolate one?
Maybe they're in there. I haven't opened it yet.
Probably the best thing I've ever had.
I'll have to give them a go.
Big call. It was class.
Terry's chocolate eggs now instead.
Oh, brilliant.
What is the best ever Easter egg then?
Do you ever eat the Easter egg though? I always just eat the.
I eat a few, and then what used to happen when I lived at home, when I was a kid, like you'd eat the first couple when it's new, and they're all there in the morning of Easter, come down and all your nan and everyone's bringing you an egg, and you stack them up in your room and you eat 1 or 2, and then you have a film night over the rest of after term, a couple of days, like you watch a film with the family, so you might nibble on some of them, and then you go back to school and half your eggs are still there untouched. And next day you come home and they're Rice Krispie cakes. That's what used to happen to mine.
No, I never have. I never eat the actual big egg thing. I don't know. You just eat all the stuff that comes with it. Like they usually come with like chocolate bars and like eggs and stuff. I might eat a little bit of it, but I never eat the big egg.
No, I devour it now. If I open it, it's gone. Like dangerous game.
I don't get eggs anymore. I just get like.
I was going to say, you may as well just get the packs of sweet like mini eggs.
No, that's what I get now. I just get a massive like industrial size pack of mini eggs and I smash them because those big eggs that come with them. I just never eat them. They're always there, so I just get loads and loads of mini eggs.
Fair enough. But yeah, before we get into the football talk, then we have been getting a couple of subscribers the last few videos, so I want to just reiterate the point. Obviously, if you enjoy watching what we do here, please hit that subscribe button. Only way that we can grow and sort of improve as a channel is to keep growing with the subscribers. So if you do come regular, if you do enjoy what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot more than you think it does, really, and helps us a lot. So we appreciate everyone that has done so far and for your continuous support. And please, if you can do, join the club if you like and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with everything we're doing. But yeah, so with that out of the way, let's get on with it. So as I touched on already, we did actually visit the Reading game, Reading against Swansea. I say we visit the Reading game. We visited the Select Car Leasing Stadium. I think that's right, is it? Is that what it's called?
I hate sponsored stadiums. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Medeski forever.
What's better, sponsored or being called after the owner?
Oh, it's still after the owner. I'd rather
what would that be? The Hugh Jenkins Stadium or the Kaplan and Levin Stadium?
The Kaplan sounds good.
The Kaplan. Yeah, until you realise what it means, and then all of a sudden everyone burns it down. I'm joking.
Sounds better than the Swansea.com anyway.
Yeah. So I dramatic away day to pick. I just thought maybe we could recount a little bit of our experience and talk about the match, perhaps.
Yeah.
So the last away day we did, at least together, was Brighton away in the Cup. Just the two of us did that one. Quite a long journey. I think it was an even longer journey home.
Yeah.
This one, not so bad. Quite quick and easy, actually, up the M4. That we left at 8 o'clock, and we got there by 11 with a stop.
Yeah, Reading's class trip. Always
No
love
bank
going to
holiday
Reading.
traffic.
Yeah, it's the Reading's lovely trip to do because it's literally just right down the M4 and the ground is just off the motorway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So easy.
I got a question, though. Anyone else that did visit Reading on Monday, where did you go before the game and how did you get there? Did you go on the train? Did you take the bus? Like, what did you do before the match? Because we went to Bracknell, which is only like 20 minutes up the road, basically. We stopped there for lunch, found a Wetherspoons, had a couple of cheap drinks, as you do. And I went to some, what was it called? Blues Smokehouse or something.
Yeah, there's some cracking grub in there.
Yeah, some barbecue smokehouse style food. I had a lovely brisket with chips and some. It wasn't onion rings. It was kind of like onion ring concoction. They weren't in rings. It was just like the onions in a pile of onion and batter. It was nice. But we had a burger to do, I think.
Yeah, it was class. Smashed
Standard burger. But yeah, decent. So then we made our way over to Reading, got the park and ride. So apparently there's no pubs near the stadium, and all that we were aware of. So that's why I asked a question, really, for future reference. What did everyone do beforehand? And yeah, the atmosphere was quite rowdy, quite good.
Yeah, it was always going to attract a big crowd, Reading. Usually get a big crowd to Reading anyway because of the trip, but bank holiday Monday as well, I think.
Sold out, didn't it, twice?
Yeah. Oh, this is something I wanted to talk about, actually. So while we're on, like, selling out, so many empty seats in the Reading end.
Yeah, well, I got a picture, haven't I? I'll share.
Yeah, like...
So this was obviously before kickoff, so it's not a true reflection, maybe, but it didn't get that much better.
But you look to the left of where we were sitting, so the left of this picture.
Let me have a look if I got any more. Well, that's Russell Martin just before kickoff, so you can see how many empty seats were opposite us.
Yeah, and on the left of that, you could have extended the away end. I think. I don't know. I don't know the rule. Like, obviously, with the way they police.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. Throw you off track there. The Doob t-shirt.
The Doob t-shirt. Well, going back to Russell Martin coming out for kickoff as well. The last time he did that was the Cardiff game, so I thought it was going to be one of them. We started like that anyway.
Well, but no, same amount of goals.
Yeah. So every time he does that, we're guaranteed 4 goals. No, I was going to say I don't know the rules about, like, obviously policing it and safety and everything.
Yeah.
But don't you think, like, with a stadium like that, what does that hold? 30,000, and they must have had.
Isn't it 10%?
Not even half?
You've got to give 10% or at least allocate. 10%.
I know, but couldn't there just be like a rule for a game like that? Because we could have taken 5,000 up there easy, I reckon.
Like, if they know they're not going to sell the tickets, can they not just give us more?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I guess the problem is when you sell a season tickets, like, from day one.
Yeah, where the seats
like the guys you know right on the left there that you can see, they might be season tickets, and then the same the other side. So you can't really ask them to move to then give more away tickets out.
I know, I get that, but I just think it's such a shame because they only gave us, like, what was it, 2,200 in the end, which were easily sold, and I think we could have easily got, I say 5,000, but maybe not. But at least 3.5 we could have sold.
Does the home team want that advance, like all them fans there?
Well, no, they don't. Obviously, they won't want that. But if they're not selling out like that amount, like the space was ridiculous. Like, and I just couldn't get over it. It was so empty, and I just think there were so many people that would have liked to have gone that wanted tickets that couldn't get them. I just think maybe something could have been done there. But if you watch, like, Scottish football as well, sometimes you watch, like, Rangers and Celtic away, and they've got, like, 3 stands in an away game, and just the home fans are in one. I know, like, obviously nobody's going to want to do that and give up that much advantage.
It would be
crowd, but I just think
it's
such a shame. If you could have more fans in the stadium than looking at empty seats, why would you not do it?
Maybe there should be a rule that they have a bit of territory in every stadium that's above the 10%. That's like, you don't sell season tickets in this stand because it's like, if you don't sell out, it's available. And you fill this last. So it can go either way then. That would be maybe a good way to do it, because they can, like, if the home fans need more tickets, then they go into that stand and they don't allocate it to away. But if by, like, I don't know, 3 days before kickoff, it's not sold out home, then they can open it up to away fans and even sell, like, up to, like, the day before or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just as an option.
I know,
like a rule in the league, in it, to say, like, well, let's bring in money into football rather than protecting the home stadium and the home advantage. It's like you have the opportunity to sell them first, and if you don't do it
you have the opportunity
then that stand goes to the away fans.
Yeah, so like that whole stand behind the goals there, they could keep that as a thing, because if they haven't sold out the other 3 stands by, like you said, like 3 days before kickoff, they're not going to sell the rest of that stand behind the goals.
Yeah.
So just give it up to the away fans. You have the opportunity to sell them. I just think it was a shame, because it was obviously the game we had as well was like brilliant for the neutral.
Yeah.
So to have, like, 3,500, 4,000 fans there would have been brilliant, but there's obviously reasons for it. But they lift it in the FA Cup, because if you go watch, like, when Man United play a home in the cup, you get like 9,000-10,000 away fans in that side, isn't it? And on the top tier, so they lift it for that. They get extra for the FA Cup, and then I think they should do it for the league. Get more people in the stadium. Fed up of seeing, like, empty grounds like that.
Empty grounds when you don't have to. But their stadium definitely too big. I know they're having difficulties at the moment, and they're not doing too well as well. I think there's issues with the owners in Reading, and that's why they've had deduction, because there's stuff going on in the background. I guess there's a lot of people not going out to protest.
That's fair. No, that's fair, and they have been struggling. And then, look, I know I'm not, like, sort of singling out Reading either. Like, we don't always sell out our stadium. It's just a thought, because even when, like, we have games down our stadium, I think the more away fans are in there, just generates better atmosphere anyway.
Speaking of the atmosphere, I thought the atmosphere was incredible for the entire game. We were behind. We went behind first. The atmosphere was good, and we got a goal straight away. Obviously, when you're drawn, and then we went to winning quite soon after. Really good atmosphere all the way through. What I found funny, though, at the end, then when they equalised right at the end, and we'll talk about the game in a minute, the atmosphere still, as much as it was a bit heartbreaking, I still thought it was a good atmosphere. Like, it wasn't like everyone shut up and went home miserable. It was still, like, at the end of the day, your team didn't win and you should have. But what an exciting match now. How many away games do you go to that end 4-4?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was still good entertainment. So, but I found funny, because I'm not going to lie, I hardly heard a peep out of the Reading fans until at least 4-3. They started piping up a little bit, and obviously they cheered the 4th goal. And then Paul Ince comes out in the media and saying, like, oh, the fans, they were there all the way. They really had our back, and we couldn't have done it without them. I think he's getting confused a little bit, like, who he's listening to be honest, because they didn't say a peep. I don't know if you heard them. I didn't.
No, I think it was quite quiet, wasn't it? But I think that was just the volume of fans again, and the away end was rocking, in all fairness.
Yeah, but, I'm just saying, there's no way he's heard the home fans over us, because they had nothing to sing about, to be fair. But until the end, and to be fair, at the end, they celebrated quite well, but they would, because it potentially might have saved them. It definitely relegated another team, because Derby got confirmed as going down. So it is a big point for them. So as much as, like, I was a bit like, oh, why are they celebrating like they've just won the league? But obviously there was context behind it. As much as
there was a massive point coming back. Yeah.
Though, while we're still on atmosphere and the ground, one thing I want to maybe point out that I didn't enjoy, and I think for quite a modern stadium, is a massive issue, is the space in the, like, under the seats as you go in, that foyer area. Absolutely terrible. Like, I'm not being funny. Obviously, we can deal with it. We're adults. Go there, you can have a drink or whatever. I mean, it wasn't worth queuing for a drink, to be honest. You have to queue 20 minutes to have a drink.
One bar open for 2,000 fans.
There's empty space there. They could have put more bars, but, like, actually, no, not really, because there wasn't enough space for the amount of fans that were there. It was literally like the fullest cattle pen you'd ever see. Us trying to get to the gate to get to our seat when we got in there. Honestly, like, there was people there with small kids. That's the main issue. And, I've recently had a son. he's not nowhere near the age where I would take him to a football match. But going to an away day like that, I wouldn't even want to. Not for a long time.
Yeah, I know, but like Reading's a good trip to do as well. So I wasn't expecting that because I've been to Reading before a few times and couldn't remember it being like that. But we were bordering on dangerous when we got in, I think, because when we literally came through the turnstile, as soon as the turnstile turned around and you got past the little block, you were stuck instantly.
Yeah, there was no room whatsoever. Like you literally couldn't move. You had to like force your way through. I think even if you had a drink at that point, you wouldn't have been able to drink it without spilling it everywhere. There was like no, you couldn't move your arms. You just like it was just insane. And
that was one of the worst.
me and John, one of the other boys, went down at half time thinking, we'll go down like 7 minutes early and get a drink. And we still queued. We got our drink 5 minutes before the game kicked back off for the second half. And then had to basically down it to go back up. It wasn't so bad at half time because they opened up outside and they put a food van outside as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't think people realised because they're obviously still queuing inside for food. But I think maybe that's a good idea to solve that problem, when it's dry and during a match. But obviously before kick-off, when you've got the gates up because people are coming in, there is a problem there. So I'm surprised that, after what events have happened in the past with things like Hillsborough, that stuff like that still kind of happens, really. I thought there'd be more health and safety involved around that. But like I said, it's not so much of a problem for us. It was a bit inconvenient for us, really. But I did feel a bit sorry for, there was a couple of people that maybe had disabilities there, and there was young kids there, parents taking their kids to an away day that is, like you said, quite local. For me, looking at that, there's no chance in hell I would be doing that until, I don't know, 13, 14.
I think they got it wrong. I just think they got it wrong, to be fair. Like I said, I've been before and I've never seen an issue.
So they have more area then to open up.
I remember, like where we are in that picture now, we're kind of on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I remember the last time I went, we were on the right. This is going back a few years, but I can't remember it ever being that. I think they just opened that one small area for all the fans, and I just think it was just carnage.
Yeah, so whatever cost cutting or corner cutting was used there, like that needs to be looked at, I think, really. Maybe they would have known how many tickets were sold, so is there really an excuse? I don't think so.
Again, going back to how many home fans there were as well. Like to have 2,000 fans cramped in one small area.
That's probably what it is, though. They've based the staffing for these back-of-house areas on the home fan allocation, like what they normally sell for a home game, yeah? Whereas we filled our away allocation. Like our stand was full, whereas all the other stands are not full. So they probably don't have that issue anywhere else. And that's probably what they've done. And they've cut the corner, and it's borderline unsafe then for the away fans, like especially, like I said, the young kids. And you just wouldn't go down at half time, obviously. You'd keep them safe up in the stands. But it shouldn't be the case that has to happen. Like you shouldn't be, I can't go down because, they probably couldn't even go and get a drink. And it's a sunny day. It wasn't the warmest, but it could have been, in the summer, and they needed to go and get a drink, and they wouldn't have been able to, basically.
No. Yeah. No, it's anyway, one small bar open for the whole. Yeah, it was bad. Well, I think it's the worst. That's the worst I've been. As the worst I've seen, I think.
It's the worst away. It's worst I've seen in any away day.
Normally, normally like the concourse is like that downstairs, and an away day, everyone always packs down there anyway before the game and gets a drink, and everyone's singing, and it's a good atmosphere. But that was uncomfortable.
But there's usually a place you can get to your seat and you can walk through. Like
but usually there's quite a lot of space. There's quite a lot of space, so everybody congregates and does like sing and stuff. But usually you can get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But it was literally the entire area, and that was what the problem was. Yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about any more of the bad stuff. Let's look at the game. So I've got down in my notes, most dramatic game of the season. I think that's fair to say. I've made the reference to being a roller coaster year quite a few times this season. Kind of a bit of a roller coaster match.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I did put a couple of talking points, but some of them kind of overlap. So penalties is one. Have you seen the highlights back?
I have watched it back.
So we talked last week or the week before.
I didn't want to, but I did watch
and refereeing decisions.
Yeah.
We conceded a penalty, 5 minutes into the game, less than that, perhaps 3 minutes in. I thought at the time it was soft. having watched it back, how do you feel about that decision?
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt when I saw it at the time, I thought it was really soft. Didn't see it. The ref doesn't give it. The linesman gives it. I thought it was soft, but when I have watched it back and seen the replay, I think it was pen. It was still a bit soft, but I think we would have wanted that pen.
I don't know. I looked at the replay and I didn't think there was that much contact there at all. Really,
it is soft. It is soft, but I think it was a pen. But what's hard for us to take at the time was obviously we hadn't had a penalty, and you think like all the decisions that we've not gone our way, and then they get that one that soft.
But what does he do? Because it doesn't. It just. I think he goes for a swipe of the ball, but like, does he actually hit him? I didn't think he.
Yeah, I think what it looked like on the replay was that I can't remember who the player was, but the player comes across and sort of like nudges Perot a little bit, and because he nudges Perot and gets his body in between Perot and the ball, Perot then just sticks out a leg as a reaction to try and kick the ball away, but doesn't get it. And I think the player just sort of like rides that contact then. He just gives him that little shoulder to get in between, and then Perot's reaction is then to stick his leg out.
Yeah.
And he just rides that contact then. But I think it was soft, but I would want that pen all day if it was us.
Yeah, well, we want any pen. But yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, that was it was Fisher didn't get that close to this one. He's got close to a couple lately, but this one was it went in. And it was against the run of play even 3 minutes in, which is a big thing to say 3 minutes into a match, but you just got the impression we were up for it, and that was literally the first time they came forward, I think, and they had a free kick.
Yeah.
The free kick firstly got defended, and then on the rebound, this guy comes running in, and that's when it happened. So I think some people were questioning why is Perot even there in the first place, but it's because he was down there defending from the original free kick, so he was just tracking the runner into the box. Good thing though, it didn't take us long to make up for it, and Hans Wolf in probably one of the goals of the season, I would say. It was a couple in this match that could be on that list. We were watching their finishing, obviously, before kick-off, because they were literally practicing their shooting right in front of us, and some of it didn't look great. Hans Wolf's were a bit... I think he got them on target quite often, but they were quite naff, like not really much there. And obviously saved his best for the game, because I think Finn Downs made a burst from the halfway line up to the edge of the box, plays a long ball over to Wolf on the left-hand side of the box, corner, basically on the outside. And he just takes a step to the inside, and with his right foot just finesses it, literally top bins into the top right of the goal. He couldn't have got any more top bins than how he got it. And obviously we were looking at it from the angle we were looking, and it was such a good view.
Yeah, it was
the
a screamer.
Scenes in the crowd. Fairness. You were, sorry?
In all fairness, that was a screamer.
It was a screamer.
Show them nothing.
If you haven't seen the highlights, then go watch it.
Show them nothing. Look rubbish in the warm-up, and then just first chance you get in the game, top corner.
Seemed that way, definitely. So it's the second goal of the season for us. Starting to contribute a bit more where it matters now, getting a little bit more into the team.
On Wolf as well, like I thought he'd been sort of in and out of games, I thought, up till the Cardiff game, where I thought he proper shone through then. I thought he looked really good. And then he was brilliant against... I think he had a bit of a quieter game against Millwall in that week then, where he pushed further forward, and I think he was a bit quieter. But then he was excellent against Derby. I thought that was probably his best performance of the season, and he hit the bar and deserved a goal in that game as well. And then that's great. And then he has like not a great game against Barnsley, but not a terrible game. And I just saw he got absolutely slated then. So and it's
the team didn't play that great against Barnsley.
They didn't. But it's just like it's a common theme, and we'll come on to it later about other players as well. It's just like someone plays well. Someone plays well. Oh my God, they're class. Sign them. Get a contract. Someone has a bad game, then sack them. Get rid of them. Get out of my shirt. I don't want to see you in the club again. It's really put my head in.
You can't play amazing every game, and it's just the way it is in football. Always is, always has been, always will be. Even the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi, they have games where they don't score, and all of a sudden they're not good enough. But are they actually not good enough?
Probably naive in thinking that it's just us, because there's probably other it's probably the same in every other club that are so fickle. But I just think it's just particularly bad at the moment with us about
Yeah,
everything.
I think so. I think it's just social media though, and like everyone's got a
So
view
on
these days, and you see a
this
lot more of
one's
it.
this is why I was like years I just went off Twitter because you see so much shit, and then
Can't avoid it now.
I've come back, and then it's awful. Some of the stuff you read, it's just like, yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Well done, Hans Wolf. I know
Yeah.
the club have been talking about exploring options if there is potential to keep him next season, but we'll talk a little bit more about potential summer transfer strategy later. I've got a bit to say on that. So at the end, next goal didn't take us. So that was in the 6th minute. So it took 3 minutes for us to get back on level terms, and it kind of felt a bit like justice because we thought it was a soft penalty. If you watched it back and thought it was, that's fine. But obviously the players, maybe it was a good thing because maybe it kicked them up a bum. Would we have gone like ahead so soon? Otherwise, maybe would have, maybe not. I don't know. We'll never know. Joe Perot, though, perhaps wanting to make up for giving away the penalty, 6 minutes later, doubles our advantage. He puts us ahead with, I don't know if he was trying to outcompete Wolf for goal of the day, but he tries to basically the same thing from the other side into the other corner, or at least the other side of the goal. Another really good finish. I can't remember who it is gets into the box. It might be Christie or one of the.
Christie. Yeah.
It is Christie, and he lays the ball back to Perot coming from deep. Well, apparently Patterson got the assist for Perot, according to SofaScore.
Yeah, I think Christie sort of bursts into the box, and he has like a bit of a twist and a turn with the fullback, and then lays it off to Patterson, then who lays it off to Perot.
So Patterson's on the own, but he was over there supporting. But he gives it to Patterson, and Patterson plays it back to Perot, who's coming in late, I think, because he did something earlier on to push the play up. And he's got a bit of space, so he just kind of like the way he hits the ball though is it's like so impressive. Like he picks his foot, he's like picking his foot up as he's finessing it. Like he knew what he was doing. He was a very good place to finish when he's got a bit of time. And to be fair, I talked about him warming up doing the shooting practice. He was the one that basically put it in like every time without fail. And
he's a ridiculous finisher. He's an absolutely ridiculous finisher. He needs to stop scoring now and just like not play for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but well, he got the go on.
I think he's going still. He won't be here next year, guaranteed.
Well, 22 goals now this season.
Just trying to enjoy it as it happens.
Finish. And also back to penalties. I think it was just over a year to the day that we had our last penalty where Jamal Lowe scored.
Yeah.
We actually got a penalty. Premier League referee Kevin Friend gave us a penalty.
What does that tell you?
I think it was a pen as well. Like Obafemi's just in the box and just gets one of the defenders just goes clean through him from behind, just swipes his legs away.
Yeah, it was definitely a pen.
So maybe maybe it was to the point where okay, boys, like you have to make it so obvious that I can't turn it down, didn't you?
But I don't know if we've had a Premier League ref this season. So I don't know. Maybe that was the difference. I don't know either.
But we did on this game and we got a penalty, so maybe it's a sign.
I will say though, I don't actually think he refed the game that well, but we did get a pen.
No, he definitely didn't. And not even from like us moaning about the way he refed us. I think Flint Downs probably should have got like 3 yellow cards, but
he was begging to get booked, wasn't he?
Well, I was begging for him to get booked as well.
Yeah.
Just for that bet, no other purpose, which did come in the first half. Very good bet builder, may I add. But yeah, I don't know how he didn't get booked before he got booked. Like he literally flew into someone, didn't get booked. A minute later, he flew into someone again, didn't get booked. And then when I was in that 20-minute queue for the pint, he did something and got booked. I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, he flew into someone again. And just
it was as if it was like, oh yeah, you still haven't booked me. I'm going to do it again.
Well, like yeah, but that's what happens. We've seen it so many times with us against us, where teams are just hacking us down, and you're just begging for the ref to book them because otherwise they're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But it's streetwise from Flynn Downs, though. Screw it, just keep doing it until you get booked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he got subbed because of fitness, but I guess he would have anyway because of the yellow card later in the game. The penalty, though, we didn't really know who was going to take it because we haven't had one under Russell Martin. So it was a bit of a guessing game. I guess Joel Perreault was always a safe bet. It looked like Obafemi was having a bit of an argument with him, though.
Yeah,
if you watch the highlights, you can see it. He was like, "Oh, let me take it. I'll take it. I want it. I'll take it." But obviously, they did manage to.
They must have it in place, though. I know we haven't had a penalty for ages, but they must have it in place that like Perreault is the penalty taker.
Well, he is the best finisher.
I think like Grimes comes over to Obafemi as well as like no, like leave it.
Yeah,
it's already been agreed.
Yeah, and he puts it in the. It was a good penalty. He puts it in the corner. The keeper did get very close to it, though.
Yeah, I honestly thought we were going to score the pen. I was just thought 100% it's going to get saved. We finally got one. And it's going to get saved. And I saw him go the right way, and I thought, oh, God, yeah.
So no, we were watching it. We were watching it on the TVs in the bars. Obviously, there's that slight delay, so we heard the cheer before it hit the back of the net. So we knew it was gone in by the time we actually saw it. Only a split second, but yeah. He was like, I was saying to John, I was like, we'll know if it's missed because it'll be like you just won you anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So penalty on the stroke of half time, we go in 3-1 up. Very, very good first half performance. Probably could have been perhaps more. Maybe. I think even Paulin said himself they were lucky they didn't go like 5-6.
Yeah.
And we did get a fourth after half time, which in terms of good goals, the other two were perhaps good individual goals. The fourth one was a very good team goal.
I think the fourth one was goal of the day. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they did some counter-attack and worked on the right-hand side. And Christie plays it in, I think, maybe to Obafemi.
He plays into Obafemi, but Obafemi,
to Perreault, runs into the space after the dummy because the defender's like, doesn't know what's happening, basically. And Perreault plays him in, really good accuracy to get him in there, but he's one-on-one with the keeper. Now he scores a very good goal. It looked like he hit it very close to the keeper. Luckily, the keeper just stood there and just looked at it. But I thought he might have put him in one of the corners, but you can't moan. He went in. He did also go quite high for how close he was to the goal. When I was watching it back, I was like, did you need to risk going up? Because it was near the crossbar by the time it goes in the back of the net.
He's a showman, and he won the top corner. Uh-huh. The other two would put him in the top corner, so he had to try and join in.
Top middle.
Yeah. Cracking goal.
Good bit of play, very good team goal. 4-1. So you think we're cruising at this point. All the away fans loving life, having a good day out. Yeah, but then it changed. So, what do you reckon then? What went wrong? Because the game, as everyone probably is aware, ended 4-4.
Like we said loads of times, this is why we don't do videos after the game, because I was not happy after the game, as you know. I
realised. I think I took it the best out of everyone, our group, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I've calmed down a little bit, but not like a lot. So I think you're probably going to disagree with a lot of stuff that I think about the game. But I don't
know. I am annoyed about it, but I try to like. For the way that I just work, maybe it's because of background with like jobs and stuff, but I know it's a negative, but I always like, you've got to use that to get better. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, I know. It's a good attitude to have, to be fair, because I'm quite the other way, like quite negative, because I'm still gutted now because we played so well. I'm still not quite over it that we played that well. We were dominating the game like I've never seen all season, except maybe the Cardiff game where we were 4-0 up. And to throw it away from there, something has gone tragically wrong. I think no matter what, no matter what's happened, no matter what and any other team throws at you, to throw that lead away. And what time did the fourth goal go in? Like 65, maybe something like that. 60 minutes.
It may as well have been the last kick of the game. It was
90 I mean like
3.
No, I mean our
fourth goal.
Our fourth goal.
It's 58.
Yeah, 60 minutes. They've thrown that away in like half an hour. That is tragic.
I think where it went wrong for me is their Reading's second goal. If they don't score that second goal so quick, I think the game fizzles out.
Yeah.
Tom Ince scores, and it was quite a poor goal. It was like a chipped ball over from the left hand side over the back of the defence to the back post, and he just sneaks in from behind. There's no, it's either Latabodia or Wolf that just doesn't track it properly, and there's not enough communication between the two of them to who should be picking up that man. I don't know whose fault it is, because the angle you see on the replay, you can't see necessarily what happens before, and I think you need to see what happens before, like the ball is played, who's running with who.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying because it's just with one lump ball into the box, and he's got on the end of it. And if someone has to take command there, I think like either one of the defenders or the goalkeeper or someone has to take command of that. There's just one lump into the box that they've got to deal with, and they haven't.
I agree. I completely agree. But I'm wondering as well if teams look at where we're weak, and I would suggest that's where they're going. If they're looking, since Latty's been in the team, he's playing on the left, because you've got Hans Wolf, who's not really a wing back, who's a forward playing there, and he's doing a good job. He's not the biggest guy, and he's not the tallest guy. Yeah, he's not like bulky, and he's not tall. Yeah. And then Latabodia for a centre back is quite small, quite short. So if you're going to have that sort of like style of get it in there and win a header, that's the best place to be playing it. You're on mute.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I only said yeah anyway. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's, it's a good spot by Reading, but we should be dealing with it better. And but it's something to think about for maybe Russell Martin, because obviously you've got Cabango the other side, Norton in the middle. The problem is, I guess, if you don't have another centre-back that can do the same job, because it would have been Manning otherwise, realistically. Finley Burns is there, and you think, well, why have we not integrated him? Because he would be fixing that problem I've just highlighted, but I don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, that was frustrating to me, and I didn't realise, but that goal was like 3 minutes after our fourth. So, so fast, all of a sudden, it's like the momentum shifts. There's a glimmer of hope because it's back to 2 goals. And as much as they said, you should still see it out from that point, I just think that was the turning point. And that's where we lost the control, perhaps, that we had, which isn't an excuse. It's just that's what I think it went wrong. Obviously, then Downs goes off for Fulton. And Fulton he made a mistake in the last goal. But I saw so many people going in on him on Twitter saying, that substitution is the reason why we didn't win the game. And I couldn't agree. I couldn't disagree more with that statement.
No, there's.
I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I'll probably come on to it. There's. I'll sort of sum it all up later, but that's not the reason. That's not the sole reason why we lost the game. But I think Flynn Downs played so well. And he did so much. I think it was noticeable when he went off. I don't even think Fulton had a bad game when he came on. He does make a mistake at the end, but that's not the reason why we lost the game. No.
He also made a goal line clearance, which people failed to acknowledge or give credit for.
Yeah.
So it was for the 3rd goal, and they did score just after it. It was in that pinball sort of mess.
Yeah, I was a bit unlucky, to be fair.
But I could have. Obviously, they end up scoring, but he doesn't know they're going to end up scoring. And he nearly got to it the second time because he runs to the other side of the goal. It just gets under his feet and he's unlucky. But they would have scored sooner, basically. We had a chance of clearing it after he made that goal line clearance. So, that could have been in a different situation where the game was won. No one highlights that because he lost the man at the end. And he did lose the man for the last goal. I highlight that and I acknowledge that completely. But I mean, there's no guarantees anyone else marking would have done better.
On the last goal, I think he messes himself up a little bit because I think he tries to read the knockdown.
Yeah,
because he kind of accepts that he sort of half goes should I challenge the header, and then halfway through he kind of accepts that he's not going to get there because it's a bit too far away. So then he backtracks to try and read the knockdown, and then because he's running backwards essentially, he kind of loses his footing, and he just looks like he just does it looks like, and I've seen comments that he doesn't try to stop it. He's like just flail, like just chuck the
Yeah.
half-assed leg out there, but it's not that. He loses his foot, and if you see, he even slips a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just think
If
he's unlucky. He does
people have
make a
got
mistake, but
criticisms, people have got criticism of him for whatever reason. But one thing I think you can definitely not say about him is that he doesn't try. Because if you're going to say people don't put their foot in or try to stop things, he's one of our biggest tacklers. He's someone that does put his foot in and does get stuck in out of all the midfielders we got. So I
yeah.
wouldn't have anything about him not trying.
No, and like you said, his goal line clearance was brilliant, so it doesn't really add up to the. Doesn't really tie in, does it?
I'm more well and for like point out the fact that ultimately he is the reason why they scored that fourth goal. Completely accept that, but he's not the reason that we lost the game. Drew the game, sorry, and didn't win the game. Yeah, you could say, well, yeah, he is because the fourth goal is the one that drew the game. Yeah, but what about the other ones? The other two, we shouldn't have been in a position where we're defending an equaliser in the 90th minute of the game.
Yeah.
And one of those happened when Flynn Downs was on the pitch. So you can't shower him in gold and say like it's all perfect when he's on the pitch, because they scored their second one just before he got subbed off. And the second one, I think, is worse because we just scored our fourth. Now we just keep the ball and we see it through.
Yeah.
But you let them back into the game with a second goal. So all of a sudden they've got a bit of hope. There's no hope when they're 3 goals down. Like the fans were silent. They were literally not in the game. So, yeah. But John made a good point as well, because he said, like, for a team that...
I am listening. I just got to get the sun out of my face.
That's all right. For a team that like keeps the ball, you get 70% of the possession. You have a draw game or you lose the game, you have 70% possession, or you win 1-0, you have 70% possession. So why, when you go 4-1 up, are you not just keeping the ball like 70-80% possession? Because you're capable of doing this, what the game plan's built around. So why, when you're 4-1 up, are you just not... at least for the 5-10 minutes after we scored that fourth goal, you just pass the ball. Don't even try and score the goal, another one. You're 3 goals up. Just keep the ball, frustrate Reading, and all of a sudden, they're going to just give up. And they're just going to like, oh, it's done.
I think this is one of the main things for me that's worrying. Because I know, like we can say, obviously, for the first 60 minutes, we were absolutely outstanding. And we look at that and we think, right, we're going to take that into next season. But there's also bad elements that I've seen throughout the season, like the last half hour, for example, that I'm worried that will follow us in the next season as well. So when it goes to 4-2, and it's been a theme throughout the season that when we concede a goal or 2 goals or whatever, we just cannot get our foot back on the ball. And play that. I know you said, like, I agree with you. We should have just stuck to our roots, keep the ball like we were. But I think at that point, like you said, a 4-2, Reading are coming stronger and they're pressing with 3 or 4 men rather than having.
Yeah, but my point is before 4-2, like after we score number 4, now just keep the ball. No, just don't don't take risks. Don't go for an attack. You don't need to do it at this point. You don't need to get in it. Like, play a little bit deeper, spread the play, and frustrate them to the point where they're just chasing you for the next 5 minutes, for the next 10 minutes, until they're literally like, oh, do you know what? Like, this is like, they'll get frustrated, won't they? They'll get very frustrated at that point. They're 4-1 down, and they can't touch the ball. And then
but I agree with you.
If you've taken anything out of like the sting, because sometimes, what's that saying? You're always most vulnerable to conceding after you scored.
Yeah, and that's happened a lot this time this season as well. But like we're always gonna concede chances anyway. Like away from home, they were always gonna start pumping balls into the box. They were always gonna start pumping those balls in like that. We still can't deal with them that well. But I just think so many times this season, you think like Sheffield United away, where we lost 4-0 and they absolutely destroyed us, and then like Hull battered us away, and Forest at home, and some of these games where the theme is that when the game is going against us, so obviously Reading had a bit of an uplift there, obviously with the change the game with the second goal. We never seem to find our feet again. We always crumble and concede 2-3 goals instead. They can't seem to manage the game where they can sort of change it in the game to see it out. Like it's either pass it around the back 4 and make these passes or nothing. And when teams start throwing bodies at you, pressing with 3s and 4s, you've got to change the game, and we just haven't seen it all season.
And they just like there was
and
one or two from Christie where he just kicked it up to nowhere.
That's been a theme all season. They've got to change something where, maybe Obafemi comes wide and they start pumping it down the channel for 10 minutes. Like you said, we've gone 4-2 down now, right? 10 minutes. We're going to just play it down the channel to Obafemi or whoever's on the other side. And
that's what they do from kickoffs, I've noticed in the last few games. And then maybe that, to be fair, and he's saying about not rectifying past issues, there's been a couple where we've conceded straight from kickoffs.
Yep.
I feel like, is this a way that he's trying to rectify that, where, okay, straight away from kickoff, none of this passing around the back stuff, play it up to the channel, up to Obafemi, maybe we win the ball, maybe we won't, maybe we go for a throw-in, and then we're set up. Then we're in the setup that we need. So that seems to be something that he's brought in, I've noticed lately. So credit there. But yeah, what you're saying,
so there is
needs to look out.
Yeah, there is a worrying trait for me that we seem to get these spells in games where we can't turn the tide. So in certain respect, like Man United, I don't know if you watched the Man United Liverpool game last night, where
they're the same.
Obviously Liverpool came out strong, and Man United just have no one on the pitch, no formation change, nothing where they can stop it. So yeah, that's worrying for me. Just change something. I know we like to pass up from the back. That's great. And when it works like it did for the first 60 minutes, it's unbelievable to watch.
To be fair, he did change the formation.
Yeah, and I think that was wrong.
Yeah, but it is wrong, but it's easy to say that afterwards. If the criticism is he's not changing enough, but then he's tried to do something there, then now he's got to learn from that, because he doesn't really normally do that. So maybe he thought this would work. It didn't, but now he knows that.
Yeah, I know, but to give away 3 goals, it's gone horrendously.
Yeah, I'm not making an excuse for him, but I'm just saying, he did try something different there. So,
and that's where and this is the problem with it. When it got to 4-3, I fully expected them to score the 4th goal. I was convinced that they would get that. It did come really late, but I was more hope that they wouldn't.
It did look like for 5 minutes beforehand that we'd kind of calmed them down a bit, and we did start keeping the ball in the right places. Although it seemed a bit of a reluctance to go to the corner, I'd noticed. Yeah. Grimes tried to push people there, and then he lost the ball, which perhaps isn't his fault because the others weren't really helping him get to the corner. The one time they did go in the corner, I think they gave the ball to Wolf in the corner, and it's like, do you really pick Wolf to try and stand on the ball in the corner? So they gave it away straight away. But then they were passing it around really well in that 92nd minute and just keeping the ball in their half. And there was an opportunity to go for an attack. Also, we didn't squeeze in the fact that Cham had 2 chances and hit the bar. The keeper saved the ball onto the bar and post. That could have been...
And the Obafemi one as well, which literally was like a centimetre wide.
Yeah, Obafemi nearly got a 5th goal, a centimetre wide. Wolf, so he was running through. He gets brought down it could have been a free kick to us, really, thinking about it, because they were all over him and he kept going. But Cham comes in late to try and add, because it was 2 guys on Wolf, and Wolf was still managing to keep the ball somehow, or it was a bit of pinball between the 3 players. And then Cham comes in too heavy and gives the ball away. But you don't need to. If they win the ball there, okay, they win the ball there, rather than give them a free kick to pump it down.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately where their goal came from, not that direct one. I think it went out to the left, and Obafemi gave another free kick away because he ran back and tackled someone. And that's where the goal came from then. But that was silly from Cham. You don't give a foul away in their half, especially when you've got 3 minutes from the end of the game and you're winning. If they're going to win the ball there, then they're going to win the ball there. Just get back, set up, and defend.
But this goes back to my point about game management. I think that's been an issue all season.
Yeah.
I think just trying to see games out. I know the football he plays is brilliant, but he's so stubborn where sometimes you have got to just manage the game. You've got to play different within certain games, even just for 10 minutes in a game. And it could be massive.
I do have a bit of empathy though.
Yeah, look, nine times out of 10, it doesn't happen.
He does need to take some responsibility for it, but I think it comes to the point where you've blown a 3-goal lead I don't think you can just blame the manager there. Like the players need to do better on the pitch. You don't know why he set them up. Like he might have been pulling his hair out. Like, what are they not doing? Why are they not doing what I've asked them to do? And it's, but in the situation when you're on the pitch and it starts going wrong, all of a sudden maybe you're not thinking straight. I think like the players, they should have done a bit better in those situations, especially up there at the other end. Like I said, going to the corner, these little things that you can't blame the manager for that. Like they had some corners and stuff and free kicks in the corners, and they should have held the ball there for longer in the 92nd minute, for example. I'm not saying it's all, you can't give any blame to Russell Martin, but I think the players needed to take some of it, definitely.
There's loads of reasons for it. We came up with a few. I think I know you might disagree with me with that as well, but I don't think he made enough changes with the turnaround.
Perhaps.
I don't think he made enough changes with the turnaround.
Going to make more. I said 3 in my selection, but you only
he hinted. He hinted. Well, only one, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
No, it was Downs.
It was only Downs in for Fulton. That was it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was it. Because we thought maybe Latibodia would come out for Manning.
Yeah, Manning. I thought would start, and I thought Pato would go down for Cham.
Yeah, it was literally he made one change, and I know it was still only a 2-day gap, but this month is ridiculous. I think that was our 5th game in April already, where he hasn't normally made that many changes. So I think come 65 minutes, when we've got to see a game out, there was so many tired players.
So I said this to you on the day, and I've said it all season, haven't I? I don't think we're fit enough, and I still don't think we're fit enough. And I think I've seen it as a theme in a lot of games where 70 minutes plus, winning, losing, drawing, we fizzle out. Like our pass in football fizzles out. We don't keep the ball as well in that last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that all comes from tiredness. Like, for example, our game has developed under Russell Martin since Obafemi's been in the team. When we haven't got the ball, he is like on people in a flash. He presses really well, and then he gets tired, which is fair because you would. But it's very noticeable then when he's tired. You can see the rest of the team's quite tired, and that pressing goes. And again, I guess in this situation, it did allow Reading to come back in a bit. So that tiredness thing, which does come from the lack of pre-season, ultimately, it needs to be addressed this summer, because I think to play this game plan that he wants to play, they have to do it for 90 minutes, and they can't. So there's a massive issue there, because you can't just win. You can't go 4 goals up or 3 goals up at 70 minutes, and then you're so tired afterwards that the opposition has a chance of coming back. I know that doesn't happen every time, but the tiredness, it is a big problem. I think like they were tired again. You said they were tired for the whole game against Barnsley, weren't they? They looked quite tired.
Yeah, they looked a bit tired. Yeah, but this is what I mean.
It happened against Derby. It happened against just every game that I've watched. They have looked leggy in the last 20 minutes.
And in hindsight, I know obviously if they didn't come back and we won that game 4-1, then they were brilliant and there wouldn't have been an issue. But you could just see that they were gone. And then we have a lot of 60-minute players in that squad. You could see them blowing. But then again, going back to, I think he made the wrong substitutions in terms of he should have brought Obafemi off instead of Perot, because he did the same substitution against Barnsley. He took Perot off and left Obafemi on.
I think he could have just done.
So why didn't he do it the other way around? Because Obafemi was gone. We needed an outlet. We needed an outball desperately, and Obafemi was chasing shadows.
Pressing is like the big thing, and he can't do that. Why can't he just chuck Carl Joseph on to go as the top man and just tell him to run out the people?
Or even. But you've got Perot. I noticed so much more in his game now. Because he's playing a bit deeper. He's so good at holding the ball up. A lot of the times he was just, how many times in midfield did he draw fouls where he's back to the defender and turning? He won so many fouls on Monday against Reading doing that. So for me, you take Obafemi off, he was visibly gone. He was finished. He was so tired. In all fairness to him, he does that every game. And obviously, like I said, that's the 5th game in April already. I would have put Perot up front as an outball to hold the ball up and draw some fouls, and bring in Cham and whoever coming through midfield. Yeah. So that I think that was one of the reasons as well. Obviously not the whole thing, but I think you got that one wrong. So I think it was just a number of things that all went wrong all at once, didn't they?
Yeah. And like he brought on Ryan Manning, didn't he, for
And went to a back four.
Joel Perot. I thought he'd maybe go where Wolf plays and push Wolf forward.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He obviously put him in the back four. Yeah, I don't really understand that.
I think Wolf was gone as well. 60 minutes, he looked wrecked.
But that's what I mean. So if you're going to push him forward and put Manning as the wing back, at least he's getting back.
Yeah.
And Wolf can, I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Or maybe you bring Wolf off as well for Ncham instead of Patterson. But like that's what I mean. You can't sub them all. So
no, I know.
It's,
it's easy in hindsight, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's just like I said, there were so many things that went wrong, and also, we were saying about fitness. Ncham, he was on the field for 20 minutes, and I saw him put his hands on his knees, blowing.
Well, that's probably why he's not starting, isn't it?
Well, that's ridiculous. Like,
and it is ridiculous, but maybe that's why I can't actually start Ncham instead of Pau. So Pau, you've got to start, mate.
But then he's the wrong player to come off the bench as well, because for the third goal, he doesn't follow his man back. He gets standing behind. I know, like the ball comes in and there's all the pinball, but he just doesn't track his man back, and the guy just ghosts around him.
Yeah,
it's all right when he's. I know how I feel about him. I still not.
Yeah.
He
should have scored as well, shouldn't he? He should have scored. So
he scored a cracking goal against Barnsley. In all fairness, he's got that in the locker. But there's so many things that he does that annoys me, and you don't see that much magic that that often to outweigh that. Like the chances he had. All right, fair enough. It looks great. He always does like a little step over, or he does like a little turn, and it looks fabulous. But then you should have just got your shot away, really.
You're given the chance to get blocked at that point, and you like more opportunity for someone else to come in because you're slowing down.
And he's the wrong player. Like obviously, in hindsight, again, he's the wrong player to have on the pitch when it's 4-3 and they're chasing the goal.
Yeah, perhaps it should have been Corey Smith that comes on.
Yeah, but I think I think he brought him on. I think he brought him on a 4-1, didn't he? So I think he's probably thinking, it's game over. Throwing Cham forward, he might get another goal.
4-2, we brought Cham on for Patterson. And then they scored 2 minutes later.
Well, I might not have brought it. Well, and it was him that got him behind, yeah. And they got him behind and Cham.
Yeah, because he nearly gave a penalty away, didn't he? He went for like a little bit of a swipe and then I didn't do anything.
So he wasn't the right player.
Yeah, that was an unlucky goal. We didn't really touch on it. It was an unlucky goal, but ultimately they did have like 3 attempts at clearing the ball and no one made a proper contact with it.
Yeah.
So, but that happens. Like it does happen, but it's annoying that it happened when it happened because that was as soon as it was 4-3, it was game on.
Like I expected them to draw it.
Started it for me.
The worrying thing is though, like we did have that little spell where it calmed down a little bit, but if they had scored the 4th goal like with about 10 minutes to spare, I would have backed them to win the game.
Yeah, I do know what on SofaScore you can see it on the momentum graph, and you can see when they scored in the 71st minute because that's when it was. We held on for 20 minutes without the 4th, and they had a little bit of a go after they scored it. And then it calmed down, and then it was us a little bit. But it wasn't like us pushing, it was us maintaining. And you can see that on the momentum graph until the end where they score, basically, the last. They didn't have an opportunity for like 10 minutes before.
So like overall, so many things that went wrong. But what I was trying to say is you can't sort of isolate that 60 minutes and be like, oh, that's fantastic. We're going to take that. We're going to be like that next season. Well, I'm looking at that half hour and thinking, I've seen that a lot this season as well. So are we going to take that into next season as well?
He did acknowledge it, though, in his interview, to be fair. I think he's been speaking today, and he has acknowledged it. He said, like, so moving on from the game now, really, but he said, like, he loved what they did for the first 60 minutes, but it still highlights where they need to work on and where they need to... it shows we are still a work in progress, and that's why I don't get too overly emotional about results, is what he said. Which I think is fair, because that's what I said. I think, like, if you want a game this season, people are saying trust the process all the time. If you want a game this season that both highlights why you should trust it and why it's a process, it's this game, because you should trust it, because when it works, that's when we scored the 4 goals, and it was really good. And it's still a process, because we're not quite there yet, and that's why we bottled it, yeah? So... like you said, he wants until next season for us to judge him properly, and we'll give him that. To be fair, we'll see what he does in the summer in terms of defensive recruitment, because obviously that's probably somewhere he does need to work on. Get some proper defensive recruitment in, and then we'll see if that makes an impact. Because I think there needs to be one or two down in the back that need to sturdy it up, and we can't keep relying on Kyle Norton either, because he's only got a 1 year extension.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I think. Yeah, I think as well. Like what he's acknowledged before as well is like how steep our drop off is. Like because we've seen what happened in that game on Monday. We've seen like game by game. We haven't seen it in a game like that. That was crazy, but we've seen it game by game where one game we are worthy of winning 4-1, and we have, and then we have another game then where we've lost 4-0 and it could have been more. So what's difficult this season is seeing that like such a drop off, like the dip between playing like prime Man City at sometimes and then playing like a Sunday league team.
Yeah,
the game after, or even within the game, like on Monday, that's something that just has to close that gap. Because, like I said, even if they drop off a little bit in that game, they've got to find a way to manage out of that and get back to the way that they play, and that's probably the main thing he's got to do next season.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff to work on, but I do think it is important to highlight like how we have got better since he's come in, because people were. Put it this way, I think the best way to think about it, a month ago, a lot of people were very frustrated. There was a lot of Russell Martin out. There was a lot of frustration. People were not happy. They were like, I can't deal with this much longer. And now the reason people are frustrated this week is because we're probably out of the playoff race.
Yeah, no,
So that just shows in the last month like how much things have changed.
And I've said like he's done stuff wrong, but again, I've always got to say like not Russell Martin out at all. I think he's brilliant. I think and we said about getting better in the second half of the season before that international break, where
it's very very much like Potter's season. I said that it would be, and it is.
I got to be honest, though, right? I am a little bit gutted. I don't think we're worthy of the playoffs, but I think the championship season, I've said loads of times, is so poor this season that if they could have like had some sort of consistency, we wouldn't have been far off.
If we had got in there, we would have been the form team as well, because we would have had to get in there.
Because like
if we had beat Barnsley and Reading, now we would be 2 points off the playoffs.
Yeah,
which is crazy, and we'd have a game in hand as well off some of the teams. So, I mean, when it's 2 points, anything can happen, and all of a sudden you're massively in the picture. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are disappointed this week now after Reading because they're like, oh, well, that's our playoff hopes over. Well, a month ago, you were saying he's taking us to League One. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows all of a sudden a lot of things started going right. Maybe the Cardiff game helped in the way that they won that. But when it works, and say the form we've had over the last couple of weeks is all season next year, and then one game a month is like the Reading game where we should have won it. Well, that is playoff form. Our form, I looked at it earlier, is the best form from. So Sheffield United are in 6th place right now. Let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Forest in 5th. So 6th down, we have the best form in the entire league, other than Forest in 5th and above, basically. Although we got better form than Luton, who were in the playoffs, and better form than Bournemouth, and better form than Fulham. So we're actually the 3rd best form team right now, even with those 2 draws.
What's the gap between us and the playoffs now then?
7 so the gap is 7 points. So sorry, it would have been 3 points off the playoffs. Did Sheffield play that last night? I think actually today
they played Bristol City after us.
They lost. So we would have had another 4 points.
But I think the Barnsley game I can accept, because I don't think we deserve to win. I don't think we deserve to win the game against Barnsley. I accepted that one, but obviously we threw the Reading one away.
I just say that as like people were like, "Oh, I know, we can win that." You know what I mean? Bottom of the league and all the rest of it. But you take a draw and you just won the last 3 games, and you have a draw at home. Like sometimes it's okay, fair enough. Like they've done well. Ultimately, still 6 games without a loss. And like I said, 3rd best form team in the championship. So we know what the championship's like. You don't go and win every game you play. I'm just saying, like, if this form for the last 6 if that's a period you take going into next season, and that's what we're like next season, it's a massively different year for us. The picture's changed a lot in the last month. Or we weren't in the playoff picture at all, and at least we managed to get in to be in a conversation.
No,
and that says a lot to me. And that's where the comparisons with Potter's season come in. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you're right, because we literally had the same season where we had that like sort of good finish to the season, and I think like we were still within a shout with like 3 games left for me, but I think we needed to win them all, and then I think we lost the game and it was done then with like 2 games left. So it is very very similar, but I think I'm a little bit gutted because I just would have like I
probably would have been nice to have that there to play for.
It's nice to it is nice to have something to play for at the end of the season, even if you don't think we're going to get there. Just to have something to compete for instead of dead rubbers. But that Reading game, obviously, we shouldn't have thrown that away. We would have been 5 points behind with a game in hand. That would have just been a lovely end to the season. Well, we're still,
it's still mathematically impossible, but like, I don't think it's going to happen.
We're gonna have a massive say on the promotion and playoff race because we've got to play
next.
Yeah, we've got to play Middlesbrough, then Bournemouth, and then Forest, and then QPR. I think QPR probably played themselves out of it now, but
you say that, but they're still 4 points ahead of us, so they're only 3 points off.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a big
massively bad run of form, like 8 games where they didn't win a game.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a big say on who is in the playoffs, and maybe Bournemouth. I don't know.
Yeah, but theoretically, if you won against all of those teams that are ahead of us in that playoff fight, you could put yourself back in the picture. Theoretically, I mean, it's still not in your hands, but it's still possible. I don't think it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, and it's probably the best that it doesn't happen. Let's be honest. He probably does need another year to cement his style of play and progress the team and get the players in. But it is good to see that we've managed to, like, since the Cardiff game where we were next to Cardiff in the league and it was kind of like a dead season, and it's still a dead season for them. Yeah, they're 10 points below us now. And all of a sudden, we were in that conversation. So I just think that highlights, as Russell Martin said, the progress that they have made. And if you wanted evidence to say trust the process, that's the evidence to say trust the process. He highlighted Ben Cabango as well as someone to look at to show the progress we've been made. And you know what? We criticised him earlier this season quite a bit about his ball playing capabilities and all the rest of it. And he did drop out of the team quite a few times, but I agree with him. I've seen him on the ball a few times recently, and he looks a lot better. He's playing some good balls forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think. I think we were sort of stuck for ages in that like 15th, 16th position, and then no matter how many games we like won or we just couldn't seem to get out of that little pack. But now, like, we're kind of looking up, and if we can finish top 10 or top 12 at least, mid-table,
then top half would be a good goal.
Oh yeah.
And West Brom ahead of us. West Brom.
Oh yeah, that's mad. But I tell you what though, like from one of the Russell Martin interviews I saw, I think he was quite disappointed to like not close the gap on the playoffs. He was kind of like, he sort of touched on it. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was sort of along the lines of, if we won the game, we'd be close to the playoffs. I think like that was probably what they were playing for.
I think he knows they were capable of it, and it's frustrating that they've still got stuff that's not quite there. So I think like that's what the interview I was just reading out to you was saying, like, of course I'm frustrated, but you've got to take the emotion out of it and look at where we're going, and that's what I'm happy with. Obviously, I'm frustrated at what we've missed out on, but then, and again, if you go back to the start of the season, that first 8 games, that was essentially his pre-season where we didn't win a game or whatever it was, or one win. If you had a pre-season and maybe pick up a couple more points in that period, which we probably would have, because there was a couple of home draws where we weren't quite effective going forward, and you know what I mean. It was
and a few more pens that were stonewallers.
Yeah. All of a sudden, like that few points that we might have gained, we're there or thereabouts. So if you take that his first 8 games as his pre-season, minus everyone in the league's first 8 games, I wonder where we would be.
Yeah.
So I'm quite confident going into next season that we're going to be competitive for the playoffs. I think a big call. Actually, let me just put a disclaimer out there and say I'm going to reevaluate what I've just said after I've seen the transfers.
I was just going to say transfer window pending.
And on that note, the last thing I want to end on, 2 things actually. I'm not going to spend much on the first one. I just wanted to touch on and congratulate Matt Grimes on 200 appearances for the club against Barnsley. We're not going to talk about the Barnsley game because there's not really anything to say. But the one good thing is that Swans' current captain got 200 appearances. So very good achievement for him.
been great for the club as well. No fairness.
Yeah, and obviously his new contract. Hopefully, we won't hear this summer about him leaving. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be others that are talked about, and that's what I was going to say. So, Russell Martin also said in his interview today, I don't know if you've seen it. It's not what you're going to want to hear.
I haven't seen it. Oh God.
We kind of talked about it last week, but this is, and I think I said this to you, that it's inevitable that we kind of need to sell people. Well, he said, we probably will have to sell 1 or 2 players every year to keep the club progressing, essentially. Is what he's saying, like in terms of being able to strengthen the squad, get some players in, the ones that are doing well have to go to fund that.
Yeah, I see it. That's fine. That is fine. We've talked about Brentford, who had to sell their best striker every year, but they managed it well and they brought in players that fit the system and they didn't really miss a beat then. So they continued the way they went through. What I've seen from us in the past 3 or 4 transfer windows is that we sell for the sake of it and bring in a lot less quality.
Yeah. So I do, yeah. So I think I agree with you. So I agree with what he's saying. It probably is correct that is the situation that we're in. But as a club, you need to manage that a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. If you're saying, okay, Downs Peru, we have to sell them to fund our transfer window this season. Who are your targets? How are you replacing them? Get that on the table. And obviously, what do you value these 2 players at? And go and get that money for them.
Yeah, but also you don't sell them unless you have things in place to replace them. Yeah. Because I've seen it before where we've sold players and then we go and try and get someone, it doesn't work out, and then we have a desperation signing to come in then instead.
Yeah, so you say to the club, like, this transfer only goes through if we agree this transfer, or something like that.
Yeah, and like while we're on it, Peru is gone, isn't he? He's gone. There's no way. If you think like Burnley are coming down, and who else coming down? Watford and probably Norwich. If one of those teams don't pick him up, then I can see like a.
I don't think he'll go to a championship club if he leaves.
I can see like a Brighton picking him up or something, or I don't know. I could see a team like that taking him, or Leicester has been talked about. I could see that happening.
A mid to top half team like Wolves.
Wolves are a good shout. Yeah.
Leicester, Everton, even perhaps like a team like that. West Ham.
Yeah.
That sort of level.
Could see it happening.
Brighton, Brighton.
We've also got to be very careful about. I know like Burnley don't play that type of football, but teams like Burnley coming down without a manager.
No, apparently Chris Wilder is heavily favourite for that.
God, Middlesbrough will be gutted with that though because he's come in there and done well. But that's lucky that with the style of football that is. That's the style of football that is. But I don't think Norwich are going to sack Dean Smith. I think they'll stick with him for the championship season.
Well, I think they made that decision already, haven't they?
Oh, I know, but Norwich would have been one. If they came down without a manager, I think Russell Martin would be gone there.
Yeah, but he already was linked to that job before.
Yeah, because he's played there as well, didn't he? He's played there. So I think if he came down without a manager, and this is the footballer we've been playing, I think he would have been gone. And that's the sort of, we're in that kind of, we're on a bit of a tightrope where it could go brilliant.
Maybe we'll get lucky this year because of our finishing position, though.
We do need to get a bit of luck. Like I said, like Burnley coming down without a manager is better than Norwich coming down without a manager. Because if you have that bit of bad luck, then yeah.
Because they did it last time with Potter, didn't they? So they'd be like, oh, same thing, we'll carry it on.
Yeah, you think it's all fine lines in it. I think the Brighton chairman came to watch us against Man City, didn't he? I think he came to look at players, I think. And then he watched us play against Man City in that cup game where we cut them apart in the first half. And he was like, oh my God, like, we need this manager.
Yeah. Well, he's still there, so you can't be that bitter about it.
Yeah, he's doing right now, so.
Yeah. Anything else for you then before we end this one?
No, not really. Just
enjoyed our away day. Our next away day. Probably won't be till next year now.
Yeah, probably next season.
The season starts early next season. It's July, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of the World Cup. Good.
Yeah, we only miss a month for the World Cup anyway. I thought we wouldn't have any Christmas football, but it starts back up on the 10th of December.
We won't have any players of the World Cup, or we'll have maybe we'll have some actually. We'll see.
Yeah, Perot will be banging them in for Holland.
Well, only if he gets the Prem move. You're not going to call him up from the Championship, are they?
Yeah, true.
The Welsh players, though, maybe we'll have to see. Well,
yeah.
Cabango.
Yeah,
It used to be more, but it's not, is it? It's not anymore.
We've lost them all now.
Oh, I wonder though. You got the likes of Ollie Cooper coming back next year. I wonder if he can add anything.
That's true. Yeah. I keep forgetting about how many players we've got out on loan as well that are going to come back.
Done well.
Garrick, but you got Brandon Cooper to come back. Cullen. I think did Whittaker score 2 on Saturday?
I think the other day, didn't he? Yeah.
I
can't see him. I don't think Russell Mann likes him, does he?
Yeah, but if Perot goes, we probably stay with Obafemi up front.
Yeah, you need it works though because you need someone as a deep striker, like out of the box striker.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Perot is it's like it would be the perfect role for Michu, and he's doing it. And I know people keep saying the comparisons, but that is where Michu was the best.
Yeah.
And having someone like Obafemi up front would have been so good for Michu. Can you imagine?
Yeah, exactly.
He's director of football somewhere now. I wonder maybe one day if he can come over here.
A return.
Yeah. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, on that note, if you enjoyed what we're talking about, don't forget to click that subscribe button. It helps us really grow as a channel. Hit the like button as well, because that lets more people see what we're doing and hopefully continue our growth that way by getting more eyeballs or ears on our podcast. And of course, with whatever we spoke about today, let us know what you think in the comments below. Give us your thoughts. Do you think what we're saying is correct? Do you agree with us? Or have you got other ideas, or are we just completely wrong? Just tell us below in the comments. We do try to reply to them all. I've got some to reply to from last week. I'll get on that soon. But yeah, we do read them all. Really appreciate it. And on that note, have a good week. We shall catch you next time.
See you soon.